Hi guys, welcome into Real World. I am your host, Real One, RHill. Welcome back guys, thank you for joining me. I'm excited to be here today. We've got a great show lined up for you. Of course, on top of the headline still is our friend Charlie Kirk, and most notably his memorial service that took place on Sunday. What a beautiful tribute. And I would like to go over some of the notes on that, and just a little side note going on in the news. Jimmy Kimmel, former comedian turned activist, has been suspended from his show. All coming up here on Real World. All right, thank you guys. So my first agenda topic item today is Jimmy Kimmel. Just wanted to go over some articles that have been written in relation to Jimmy Kimmel, and doing the research on his suspension. Should be firing, long overdue. As I mentioned in the intro, former comedian turned activist. Since January, he has really had his ratings slip nearly 50%. According to Nielsen, ratings from 1.95 million in January of this year have slid to a staggering 1.1 million viewers here in the month of August. So that just shows you what the taste of TDS can do to you and your career. So please steer clear of the TDS. Just want to also touch on a few things here in relation to the late night talk show, just in general. We know that Stephen Colbert was canceled due to the station hemorrhaging money on the show and no longer being able to support the show. And we're seeing similar things actually with a Jimmy Kimmel audience. Now, I will, truth be told, I will give credit where credit is due, and truth and fairness, right? Truth is fairness. Excuse me. Late night TV overall has taken a hit due to other means of broadcasting, mainly the podcasting spot. So, where a lot of people used to tune in to the late night TV, back in 2014, 2015, is whenever that sort of thing was really hot and popular. The ratings overall have declined. Now, these shows are taped and refilmed in the form of podcasts into that space, and they, on a side note, are not performing very well in that demographic either. But I did want to preface this article from Fox Business with that set of information for you. I'll just kind of read from the top. ABC's move to suspend Jimmy Kimmel's show following his comments on the assassination of conservative activist Charlie Kirk comes amid the decline in late night TV viewership and advertising revenue, aka it was a business decision. Disney-owned ABC announced the move on Wednesday after a pair of prominent media groups that own ABC affiliates, Nexstar and Sinclair, announced they would preempt Jimmy Kimmel Live indefinitely following his comments. It's unclear when Kimmel's show will return to the airwaves. Since then, just got a report today, ABC has lifted the suspension. However, Nexstar and Sinclair will uphold their preemption of the show until further notice. Sources have confirmed to Fox Business that CEO Bob Iger was involved in removing Kimmel's show from the air. ABC's suspension of Kimmel's show comes in the wake of recent decisions by Paramount, the parent company of CBS, to end the Late Show with Stephen Colbert after its current season concludes. Though the broadcast networks don't disclose specific data about the profitability or expenses of their respective late-night programs, Puck reported that CBS Insider says Colbert Show was losing upwards of $40 million a year. Data shows declining in viewership as well as ad revenue suggests late night TV financial woes may be felt at other networks as well, i.e., Jimmy Kimmel suspension. Jimmy Kimmel Live, as well as CBS's Late Show and NBC's Tonight Show with Seth Meyers, have seen viewership declines of 70 to 80% since the year 2015. Nielsen data cited in the outlet's report showed Jimmy Kimmel Live's share of the key demographics of 18 to 49-year-olds declined from 0.68 in 2013-14 to 0.16 in the years 2024 to 2025. By comparison, the Late Show's share of the 18 to 49 demographic was 0.18 in 2024-2025, while the Tonight Show was 0.13 in that period. Note, the Late Show ratings with the 18 to 49 graphic is outperforming Jimmy Kimmel Show, and they were hemorrhaging $40 million a year, so you can only imagine what ABC, Disney, Sinclair, Nexstar, the kind of financial woes they're feeling from the show. That said, it is confirmed that both Gutfeld and Colbert overall are also outperforming Jimmy Kimmel. So again, business decision, and he just gave them all the reason in the world to go ahead with the suspension. I will look further into the lifting of the suspension via ABC. However, with Nexstar and Sinclair continuing to uphold the suspension of the show, he will not be aired in most areas. All of this kind of summed up, the stations would be better off playing reruns of Friends and Seinfeld in those time slots, and ad revenues having dropped from $440 million in 2014-2015 to actually half, $220 million in the year 24-25. So essentially cost the companies nothing to have those reruns air, and they would essentially profit from those ad revenues at that point. It is the operating costs of said late shows that are going against the budget and causing for the decline in revenue. So I just wanted to clear that up. This is no attack on free speech or anything like that. There is no conspiracy with the government or collusion or anything like that. It is simply a business decision. Just think about it as if you were a salesperson receiving a salary from a company and you were not meeting your quota to have the company make money. How long do you think you would have a job? Simply put, I don't think it would be very long. All right, I've already spent too much time on Jimmy Kimmel, so let's turn to Charlie Kirk and his memorial on Sunday. What a beautiful send-off, beautiful memorial. It's just been so great to see the outcrying of support for Charlie Kirk and just the amount of people he's touched around the world. Early indicators are saying that over 100,000 people showed to the memorial service, and they were able to fill the Cardinals stadium. Not an arena, it is a stadium. They had so much overflow, they did fill an additional arena across the way, and there were still people outside of the stadium there to show support. Just a beautiful, beautiful memorial service attended by so many people. Um, Headlining, of course, by Trump. He was there. Also, Vice President J.D. Vance. Trump Jr. was there and spoke. Elon Musk, Marco Rubio, Ben Carson, Tucker Carlson, Tulsi Gabbard, Pete Hegseth, Speaker Johnson, and many, many more. It was. It did go on for a little over 4 hours. From what I understand, there was even more prior to that and after that. So it was a very long memorial, but some uplifting gospel music going on. Really, really good show. But I did just want to touch on a couple of the highlights of the evening, led by none other than Erica Kirk. She just gave such a powerful, emotional, uplifting speech. I can't really compare it to anything I've ever seen, and man, she is going to do some really, really great things with Turning Point USA, and you're going to see what I'm talking about here in just a minute. If you didn't have a chance to see Erica speak at the memorial, it is every bit worth your time. It's about 30 minutes. I'm just going to take a couple of clips from that to show you some of the powerful messages, but just to touch on some of the other stuff. Some of the other guys have said, President Trump mentioning the Presidential Medal of Freedom posthumous being presented to Charlie Kirk. It is the highest medal of honor to a civilian possible. So just a great gesture there by the president. Also, just wanted to touch on something Dr. Ben Carson said that that really kind of hit the spot for kind of what the nation is going to be going through as we continue to push this march through with Turning Point USA. I can see really, really big things in the future. Since Charlie's passing, there has been a confirmed and growing at least 62,000 chapter requests throughout the nation's high schools and colleges for Turning Point USA, and many, many, many more to come, I'm sure. And Erica Kirk looks more than ready for the task, and as we know, he has built a great team around him already to support, and that's showing signs of nothing but growth as well. Not to mention millions and millions of donations have been flowing into the company as well. Look for big things from Turning Point USA. As Pete Hegseth said in his speech, this is the turning point for the United States of America. Dr. Ben Carson says, "There is no land of the free if not home of the brave." I saw that. Very, very suiting. And, a constant theme of the night. A couple of the speakers also mentioned this saying that a tyrant dies, his rule is over. A martyr dies, and his rule has just begun. And we are clearly seeing, with millions and millions across the world touched by Charlie and his message and Turning Point USA, he has died a martyr, and his rule has just begun. All of that said, I had a thought. I wanted to go back to January 20th. Inauguration Day. Trump said something in his inauguration speech that when you kind of fast forward to today, kind of leaves you thinking a little bit, scratching your head. And I want to play just a small clip from his inauguration, January 20th. Fast forward to today. Send me some comments on your thoughts. Without further ado, though, I would like to play a little bit of the inauguration speech from Trump.
Our liberties and our nation's glorious destiny will no longer be denied, and we will immediately restore the integrity, competency, and loyalty of America's government. Over the past 8 years, I have been tested and challenged more than any president in our 250-year history, and I've learned a lot along the way. The journey to reclaim our republic has not been an easy one, that I can tell you. Those who wish to stop our cause have tried to take my freedom and indeed to take my life. Just a few months ago in a beautiful Pennsylvania field, an assassin's bullet ripped through my ear. But I felt then, and believe even more so now, that my life was saved for a reason. I was saved by God to make America great again.
Makes you wonder whether you believe or not. Miracles happen all across the world all the time. They say God works in mysterious ways. One of the other things Erica Kirk says in her message was as referring to a speech Charlie had made one time in reference to God, feel free to use me to spread your message. She pulled him backstage after the show and says, do not ever say that, because you know he will take you up on it. Food for thought. Couple of other things that I want to say that she did mention. Charlie died with incomplete work, but no unfinished business. That his message is her message shared, and she will continue to pass that on. Without further ado, though, I want to play some clips from Erica Kirk. Very emotional, obviously, but very, very powerful stuff. So without further ado, here we go with Erica Kirk.
The next day on the tarmac in Air Force Two, I confronted Usha Vance, precious woman. I held her hand and I told her, honestly, I do not know how I am going to get through this. She told me something. She said, you know when you're on an airplane with your kids and it's the last 15 minutes of the flight and things are crazy, kids are not cooperating, toys are flying everywhere and everyone's screaming, and you think to yourself, I cannot wait for this flight to land. And it's 15 minutes before you land. And she told me, you will get through these 15 minutes and the next 15 minutes after that. Usha, I don't think you realized it then, But those words were exactly what I needed to hear. But most of all, God's mercy and God's love have been revealed to me these past 10 days. After Charlie's assassination, we didn't see violence. We didn't see rioting. We didn't see revolution. Instead, we saw what my husband always prayed he would see in this country. We saw revival.
Absolutely. Such a powerful, powerful message there from Erica. We saw revival. I believe that's what I'm seeing as well. Numerous podcasts, numerous newscasts, numerous articles, numerous countries around the world, millions and millions and millions of lives touched, millions of people gathering in the streets, candlelight visuals, just peacefully showing love to Charlie Kirk. I wanted to play the first part of that clip just as a humanizing moment there from Miss Kirk, and just kind of show you she was really fighting through words to get through the speech, as you would imagine, but she did a wonderful, wonderful job and continued to fight through and deliver her message. And no stronger message came than this 5-minute clip that I'm about to play for you. Please bear with me and her, as it is a very, very powerful message, and a message for hope of the future. And I think kind of sums up the evening of the memorial, just a message of love, a message of unity, a message of healing for the country. So, once again, Erica Kirk saying goodbye to her husband Charlie at his memorial.
Was aimed directly at those who aren't married. He named his organization well. He knew things were not right with America, and especially with young people, and they needed a new direction. Charlie passionately wanted to reach and save the lost boys of the West. The young men who feel like they have no direction, no purpose, no faith, and no reason to live. The men wasting their lives on distractions, and the men consumed with resentment, anger, and hate. Charlie wanted to help them. He wanted them to have a home with Turning Point USA. And when he went onto campus, he was looking to show them a better path and a better life that was right there for the taking. He wanted to show them that. My husband, Charlie, he wanted to save young men just like the one who took his life. That young man, on the cross, our Savior said, Father, forgive them, for they not know what they do. That man, that young man, I forgive him. I forgive him because it was what Christ did and is what Charlie would do. The answer to hate is not hate. The answer we know from the gospel is love, and always love. Love for our enemies and love for those who persecute us.
Amen.
The world needs Turning Point USA.
Yes, it does.
It needs a group that will point young people away from the path of misery and sin. It needs something that will lead people away from hell in this world and in the next. It needs young people pointed in the direction of truth and beauty. And so I promise you today, every part of our work will become greater. I am tremendously honored to be the new CEO of Turning Point USA. I do not take that lightly. Charlie and I were united in purpose. His passion was my passion, and now his mission is my mission. Everything that Turning Point USA built through Charlie's vision and hard work, we will make 10 times greater through the power of his memory.
Absolutely.
Chapters will grow. Thousands of new ones will be created. TP USA Faith will add thousands of new pastors and congregations. And yes, campus events will continue. And we will continue to hold debates and dialogue. The First Amendment of our Constitution is the most human amendment.
Absolutely.
We are naturally talking beings, naturally believing beings. And the First Amendment protects our right to do both. No assassin will ever stop us from standing up to defend those rights, ever. Because when you stop the conversation, when you stop the dialogue, this is what happens. When we lose the ability and the willingness to communicate, we get violence. And as I stand here now and I look at this beautiful photo,
I'll just leave that right there. Just a very, very touching moment in the speech. Transitioning from one of the most heartbreaking things, definitely a tearjerker moment, and her forgiveness of Charlie's killer. She is definitely a better person than I am. Um, Not being a practicing Christian myself, being able to forgive like that is kind of beyond me at this moment in time in my life. But, gives us a lot to think about. Um, One thing that I did take away from that, as you kind of saw her struggle to get that out, it almost seems like that was her closure moment. And so I can kind of understand that. Not having to bother yourself with that on a day in and day out basis. Having that closure and realizing that life must go on. And so she does continue the message, accepting the position of CEO for Turning Point USA. And as I've said before, I have no doubt it will be so much bigger and better than anyone could have ever imagined. Even as well as Charlie grew it himself in such a short lifespan, 31 years old. Very sad. And I wanted to show you the last part of that clip where she talks about the First Amendment. And it's something that you'll hear me speak about a lot. One of the reasons that I started this journey that we're on today. I had a passion to do this for over a year now. And, as I mentioned in my first episode, just now getting around to it, but that was the reason for my passion to wanting to do this for so long, and why I vowed to be in this space no matter what. That First Amendment is so very important. Our forefathers made it the number one law of the land for a reason, and we must continue to speak, we must continue dialogue in order to survive as a nation. And that is why I am siding with the right on most policies. We have seen the left try to censor in so many ways. You saw Facebook, Twitter, other outlets come out and voice the Biden administration forcing censorship, gag orders, court cases, etc. We all know the drama that they took President Trump through with him running again in this election cycle. I just feel so much passion for that First Amendment, and we must protect it at all costs. And I do believe that is why the Second Amendment was put in place as the number 2 law in the land, primarily to protect that First Amendment, which is why we must protect our First and Second Amendment. You see it on live display as we speak. And so, just in closing, a very, very beautiful memorial for Charlie Kirk. Humanizing as a father, husband, friend, martyr, and just a unifying message of love, unity, and healing. Charlie Kirk, gone, but never forgotten. Thank you guys for joining me today. Again, I am Real One, RHill. This has been Real World Podcast. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share. I'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.